Hi, and welcome to Manage Your Energy, Not Your Time. I'm your host, Laurie-Ann, and congratulations on clicking to watch this video. This is going to make a huge difference in your life. A few minor tweaks here and there, and presto, you will begin to see how much more you will be getting done because you've got more energy. After I published my book, Rethink Leadership, 4 Lessons to Make You Remarkable, so many people commented on how they wanted to do what the book suggested, but they were just too exhausted with their own list of things to do. And to add something new, yikes. I've done a number of webinars and programs on energy management, so here it is in a video. When you stop to think about it, how can you manage something that is not manageable? Time happens 1 second at a time. I have 24 hours in a day, and so do you. Successful people, people that are just starting out, people that aren't doing as well, people that are doing well, we all have 24 hours in a day. So how do you manage a constant? And the answer is you can't. But you can manage your energy, which you have much more control over than you realize. And by the end of this video, you will have a better understanding and have a firmer grasp on how you can control your energy. So I just want you to stop and think back to a day when you were exhausted and you didn't feel like you could accomplish much at all. Think about how you were dragging through the day. How many cups of coffee did you reach for? Were you dreaming about taking a nap? Was time just ticking by ever so slowly? Your to-do list was growing, but you didn't have an ounce of energy to check anything off. How did you sleep the night before? What kind of foods were you craving? I don't know about you, but when I'm exhausted, I crave some foods that aren't so good for me. What did you eat that day? Were you constantly checking your cell phone, your email inbox, or was your family demanding more of you? Now I want you to think about a day that you got a lot done. Remember that one? Or are they so rare that you don't even remember the last one that you felt productive? Well, work with me here for a little bit. What was your overall general mood? How did you sleep the night before? Who did you interact with? What kind of energy or mood were you giving off? Were you amazed with how much stuff you got done and accomplished? What did you eat that day? Did you get a workout in? With all that energy, you might have needed it to burn off. Were you smiling? Did you wake up on your own or with an alarm? Who did you interact with that day? Well, what I'm about to show you is going to help you in managing your energy. And if you take a look at the ebook, there's a funny video that I'd love for you to watch. And it's basically, it's at an event that I was speaking at, and one of my assistants, we did the skit in the very beginning, and she was throwing stuff at me. And I'm sure that you'll get what the metaphor is. So, you'll get the picture once you see it. So we all have 24 hours in a day, and let me show you some hacks to be more productive, because you will become a master at managing your energy, which will make a huge difference in your productivity. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I am Laurie-Ann, and I am a speaker and expert on motivation, high performance, and leadership. Some of my books include Rethink Leadership, Blueprint for Success, Rethinking Leadership, and Healthcare Leadership. My career began in healthcare, working in 2 very different patient care departments, which couldn't have been more opposite. One worked as a team with an engaged staff, while the other was cutthroat and only out for one's own interests. This experience inspired me to study performance, human behavior, leadership, the science of achievement, and teams. Today I speak, train, and coach individuals and organizations wanting to achieve a higher level of success and create a memorable and powerful impact authentically. So let's get started. I want to talk to you first about sleep. How much sleep did you get last night? What do you think your average is? Well, if you have a Fitbit or other device that tracks your sleep, you know that it can give you a general idea. And it's not 100% accurate, but at least it'll let you know. In a study conducted by the National Geographic Channel, 73% said that they did not get 8 hours of sleep. And of those, this is interesting, 54% of them, that's more than half, said they felt they needed at least 8 hours of sleep. The dangers of not getting enough sleep are similar to driving while under the influence. And you may be like myself and not physically need 8 hours of sleep, but you need to get quality sleep. I can always tell when my life has become a little more stressful and needs attention. I feel more tired and I notice that I sleep more than what my average is. And that in general impacts my productivity. And so when I finally take notice of this, I make the adjustments so that I either get rid of some of that extra stress that's in my life, or I try to, if I can't get rid of it, what can I do about it and maybe get a little more sleep? When we sleep, which is so vital to our health, our bodies literally go through a transformation. From repairing muscles to restoring a new supply of hormones for the next day to clearing your mind, and it all happens while we sleep. It's so vital to recharging our bodies, and it should not be ignored. So here are some tips to getting quality sleep and also enough sleep. Because we all know that there have been nights when we've been in bed trying to fall asleep, but the quality of our sleep is not equal to the amount of time that we were actually sleeping. Go to bed and get up around the same time. Habits, rituals. Our bodies get used to going to bed at a certain time and waking up at a certain time. Your bedroom temperature should be a little bit cooler than the rest of your house. Invest in a comfortable mattress and pillows, and also I'm going to add to that sheets and blankets. I want you to start calming down about 90 minutes before bedtime. Yes, 90 minutes before bedtime. If you can't do 90, do as close to 60 as you can. Do not look at your electronic device before going to bed. And I'm going to say at least 30 to 60 minutes for a number of reasons. And one of them I'm going to go over in a future tip here. And get your TV out of the bedroom. I know a lot of people like to fall asleep to it, but there's a blog that I wrote about, be careful, because I watched CSI, and so you can go find that particular blog, and it's what watching CSI did to my sleep. Next tip was water. How many of you are getting enough water? Our bodies are made up of 55 to 60% water. Your heart are composed of 73% water, while our lungs are about 83% water. Water is used in regulating our body temperature through perspiration and respiration, metabolism of carbohydrates and protein. It lubricates our joints, it protects our brain, our spinal cord, and other vital organs. We can survive 3 minutes without oxygen. We can go 3 weeks without food, but you can only go 3 days without water. And I want you to have a goal of drinking 60 to 70 ounces of water. And if you're like me, I got a Fitbit, and I actually keep track of how much water I drink in a day. And I know that if I don't drink enough, one day, the next day, I really do make it a point to try to make up for it. Instead of grabbing, a cup of tea or a cup of coffee in the afternoon, drink some water. You'll notice a huge difference. And for, a lot of people always ask me, well, I have a couple of cups of coffee or tea in the morning, and coffee, tea, and alcohol do not count as drinking some sort of form of water. If anything, they actually do the exact opposite. So do yourself a favor and carry a bottle of water with you everywhere. Sip it throughout the day. Drink 10 to 12 ounces of water when you wake up in the morning, because you were sleeping for 8 hours, and during that 8 hours, or 6 to 8 hours, you weren't you weren't drinking anything. If anything, your body's getting rid of waste material. And so set a goal to how much water to drink during your workout as well. I notice on days that I do not work out in the morning that I don't drink as much water throughout the rest of the day. And it should go without saying, if you are outside or it's hot and humid weather, I think you should drink a little extra water. Number 3 is exercise. Okay, this is just one of those suggestions that I get a lot of pushback on. In fact, exercise will help you sleep so much better. And in the ebook, I share a link to a study so that you can read the report yourself. But there are so many benefits to exercise, from weight loss to maintaining muscle mass, which we lose as we age. Who would have thought that you could actually sleep better with some regular exercise? Well, let me just share with you a personal story. When I was in college, I was in a terrible automobile accident, which put me in the hospital for almost 2 weeks. And then I was sent home with strict instructions not to exercise, which, I couldn't have done even if I wanted to, because I was told to let my body heal. Well, prior to that accident, I did exercise regularly, and I taught aerobics. Again, this was in college. I can personally tell you that I did not sleep well without having regular exercise in my life. Successful people know the benefits of exercising regularly, and they do it. Make a habit of exercising. And successful people do exercise in the morning, and it's a great way to get something checked off your to-do list bright and early to set the tone for the rest of the day. Think about it. Wouldn't you just love to check something off like within the first hour and a half of being awake? And just think about like how much more productive that you're going to be, while you're exercising and for the rest of the day, because you've got those endorphins that are running through your body. You can be like me and you can make the most of your time while you're working out. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks, personal development recordings. Reading can't be done on every piece of equipment, but I have been particularly successful on reading on the Stairmaster, bike, and the elliptical machines. Yes, I can honestly say that most of the books that are in my library, I have read on one of those machines. Protect your agenda. This is frightening. 80% of smartphone owners check their email before brushing their teeth. That's frightening. Do not, and I'm going to repeat, do not check your email first thing in the morning. If you do check your email, you will become a victim of someone else's agenda. Because when you think about it, that's what email is somebody else's agenda that they're imposing on you. You'll become stressed. You'll feel compelled to answer them, instead of sticking to your own agenda or creating your own agenda. Once you lose that time in the morning, you will never get it back. And successful people know this, and they don't check their inboxes, or, they stick to their own agenda and they wait. I've read certain reports that say that successful people actually don't read their email or don't open up their email until about an hour and a half. So that actually should give you enough time to go work out. And then you won't be reacting to somebody else's agenda. You will be paying attention to your own. So here's just a couple of ideas. One, if you dare, create a habit of checking and responding to emails only twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. And night being, early in the evening. I actually have made my email inbox work for me instead of working for it. I have certain email addresses for newsletters and other pieces of marketing material that I sign up for. These emails do not go to my cell phone. They can only be viewed on my laptop. I have another, email for people wanting to hire me for a speaking event or for personal coaching. And those emails that will go to my phone. And then, then my last email is used by my personal coaching clients and meeting planners that I'm actually working with. And again, it's just a different email. It goes to a different box, and there's only certain boxes that I'm going to look at on a certain, on a routine basis. Email can be a big time waster, so I want you to take control of your inbox and don't let it take control of you. Next one is about recharging. I got that picture of my phone over there on the right-hand side. And, what do you do with your cell phone at the end of the day? If you're like most people, you plug it in to recharge it. Well, here in the US, taking a vacation time is not valued as much as other countries. And Americans do leave many unused vacation days on the table. So I don't want you to be one of them. There are some huge benefits in recharging your body physically, emotionally, spiritually. You need to take some downtime, whether that's in the form of vacation or just maybe even just a half a day or a full day. When small children get cranky, it's usually time for them to take a nap or recharge. School-age children also benefit from playtime. They get out of the schoolroom and the learning atmosphere and they go outside and play with their friends. It's a break for our brains and the body. As adults, we need downtime, but most of us aren't getting it. So what I'd like you to do is pull out your calendar and schedule your vacations. Get a black marker out. Get a physical paper calendar that you can see and just black out, this is my vacation. Or schedule some time off in your schedule. Maybe a half a day or a full day. This is time that you don't answer the phone or you answer email. There are conferences that I attend for myself personally and I work at, and I also plan on spending a day by the pool afterwards at the very end of it. It's my recharging time after a week of doing great work with some clients. If I can't schedule that and I need to get back home or I need to get onto another site, another city in town for clients or a speaking event, I plan a massage. Somewhere I plan a massage and that actually helps in my recharging. Another great recharging idea is to connect with people who energize you. Maybe it's a friend or a sibling. I have certain female friends who I love to connect with on a regular basis. We'll meet for coffee or lunch whenever our schedules allow it. Another one is biking with my dad. And my dad is in really phenomenal biking shape. And he emotionally recharges me, but he physically kicks my butt all over the road. But I still keep coming back for another ride with him. What you eat is going to impact your energy. And I think most of us know this. You are what you eat. If you put regular fuel into a sports car, you know it. It just doesn't run as smooth or as quick as it should if you would put the proper super octane fuel in the tank. Granted, we are not cars, but it's very similar. If we put a lot of processed foods, into our bodies, the difference compared to when you have, like a salad, with olive oil and very simple ingredients. And here's another one, have you ever noticed that maybe you feel tired 60 to 90 minutes after you eat? Well, you're not alone. There are a number of people who feel the same way. And I even used to do this. I used to fall asleep on the couch an hour after dinner, which then would impact my bedtime later in the evening. Our bodies sometimes have to work really, really hard to digest our meals. But there is something very simple that you can do to help with this. And this is what I have done, and I still do this today. And it's food combinations. And again, in the ebook, I have a couple of links so that you can read more about food combinations. But essentially, here are the two rules: carbs and vegetables. That's it. Carbs with vegetables, like pasta with veggies. Protein with vegetables, like steak and a salad, or salmon and salad, or a salmon and like some roasted vegetables, but never carbs and protein. So your steak and potatoes, that's a digestive nightmare. So I will admit that I love to have like a cheeseburger and french fries once in a while, and that's a protein and a carb, and that is a digestive nightmare. But I also know what to expect like in an hour to an hour and a half. So know that the foods that you're eating is going to impact your energy. And try doing this food combination thing and see how you feel. If you don't want to do it all the time, at least, do it for lunchtime, so that you'll have the energy throughout the afternoon. And here's another one that I've mentioned at conferences and webinars, and it's who are you hanging around with? Because let's face it, when you start thinking about some of the people that you do hang around with and some of your friends, and you can start flipping through your Rolodex or your address book that's on your phone, and some people give you energy and others take it away. So really be conscious about the people that you're hanging around with. Maybe it's time to detox your contact list. Yep, I'm going to suggest you just go right in there and you just delete people that are sucking the energy out of you. Here's another one, and I know that we all have people who call us, and we feel obligated to answer the phone. So you can either not answer the phone and wait till after 5 or at a more convenient time for you, or here's some dialogue for you. Answer the phone. Hey Mary, I saw that it was you. I know that you're going through a hard time, so I wanted to pick up the phone, but I just want you to know that I only have about 5 to 6 minutes. And just be honest with her. Set the phone call up. And then be diligent, when 5 to 6 minutes is up, to say, Mary, we'll have to continue this conversation. I really do have to go. And you don't have to give an excuse. You don't have to explain why you have to go. You just do. You have to go. So this brings us to the conclusion of this video. And if you have any questions or comments, I want you to feel free to email me. And if you're wondering what email address that is, yes, that goes directly to my phone. And it's one of those email addresses that I respond to really pretty quick. I'm going to say pretty quick because if I'm on stage or if I'm coaching a client or giving a training at a company, yeah, I need a little bit more time. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you apply some of these tips and secrets to managing your energy and not trying to manage time. Because again, time is a constant. I have 24 hours in a day. You have 24 hours in a day. Your neighbor has 24 hours in a day, etc. We all have 24 hours in a day. Let's make the most of our energy and get a lot more done.